All right, good evening and welcome to the Seekers podcast for September of 24th of 2023. We're here. We've got several other guests that may come in, may not. Barry Robinson, Thomas L. Barnhart, Marcus Miller he says he may come on. But we're going to get started here, and want to welcome everybody out to this evening's podcast. And we got Dale Bullock here in BC, and we'll just kind of go around the deal here. And Dale's had a life-changing experience here and everything. He's on the men's now, though, and we'll let him go first and tell about what all has been happening in his neck of the woods.
Hi, I'm Dale Bullock. I live up around Heber Springs. Hadn't been a whole lot of anything going on. Well, of course, I hadn't been outside much here lately. Mm-hmm. I ended up having to go in for a triple bypass, and I was like, I can't believe that happened to me. Been walking all over them mountains like this, stopped up inside and didn't even know it. And anyway, I think it was a miracle and a lot of prayers coming my way that got me through that.
Amen.
And I appreciate everybody.
BC, anything you got to say about down around Ball Knob in your area?
Well, nothing recent, but I was just recently told of a couple things that's, kind of odd, I guess. But one of them, guy was telling me yesterday. Now, this happened early 70s around Augusta, Arkansas. They're out riding around, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and said that there was this huge lightning strike, but the skies were clear. So they went in the direction, and the ground was smoldering. And he don't know, he can't explain it. Just how does that come out of a clear blue sky, or in this case, a clear sky, since it was at around 2 a.m. And, Larry showed that one of the pictures that he took last November when we was down there at Hurricane Lake.
Right.
And the guy told him, he said, I thought I was the only one. And so he had told him that this was around, 1986, that they were around Lake Hackleton. I think it's Hackleton. It was part of the WMA. Now it isn't. I think it's on private property, but they saw, now according to him, a triangular craft set down near Mallard Pond, and what he described as 3 green aliens come out of the craft, and the craft took off. I mean, that's something that he hasn't, I guess he hadn't really discussed much in like 37 years, but when Larry showed him that photograph, that was, I guess, in a way, the way Larry talked, the guy almost like relieved, that they weren't seeing things. So that area is just full of weirdness.
Sure, definitely is.
I've heard of alien sightings from Georgetown, and now 2 down there, actually 3 around Hurricane Lake. And then there was that photograph I think I sent you, that it was a still capture from a video I shot 2 years ago last May, that you saw the little green ones. So I can't explain it, but there it is. I've got photographic evidence 2 times.
Eyewitnesses, yeah. So something's going on.
Yeah.
Well, up here around central Arkansas on the Cattern, we hadn't had no activity that anybody's reported. Now, it was Friday night when bow season opened up over here by Jerusalem. We've had 2 campers that had something come through their camp, and they said it was somebody, and but it was they're way taller than their tent and drug their tent. Does that sound familiar there, Dale?
Yeah.
I said, "Are you sure it was a somebody?" She said, "Yeah, I just know they was mad at us for going to be hunting there at their spot because they had been there But I asked them the next day, well, how many of them, if they're going to be hunting there, they're going to be there, you know? She said they hadn't seen nobody at their hunting the deal the next morning around in the whole area. They ride side by side and hadn't seen nobody. And I said, well, that's fishy that was a person that pulled your tent. But they said, well, they was walking. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could hear the footsteps and sound like they was talking. But back to, when she woke up, she said, I couldn't understand the words that they were saying, but then the tent got to being drug. So,
Mm-hmm.
but when she went to screaming and everything, that they run off, and she said, what kind of hunter would do that? And I said, well, I think I know, but you ain't gonna like it. But and that's over at the area where, not far from where Thomas and them went with Robert and them to that area there near Jerusalem. But right there at the edge of the national forest. So that's only recent, and that was, like I said, Friday night.
Wow.
We got our Bigfoot conference that's coming up on October 14th, and I believe it said it started at 9 a.m. to 4 or 5 p.m. Me and
I think
Dale,
it said 10 to 5.
10
I
to
think
5.
it's 10 to 5, but I'll
10,
be there early, hopefully.
yeah, I'm gonna be there early. We got to set up table and everything, and we're gonna be. I think we're the closing speakers, close to 5. Me and Dale, or there may be one right after us, but it's gonna be a interesting day. It's there in Nola, Arkansas, and kind of central Arkansas, and everybody come on out and you'll get to meet all of us anyway. We're gonna have business cards and several different stuff that we'll be giving away for that's got our logos and everything on it. So come by and get you a sticker and just enjoy the conference. When do you think you're going to be up and around, Dale, to where we can go back out and do some investigation? I know it'd be after the conference, but what's your doctor saying? Like,
I don't know exactly. I guess I'm gonna have to wait and see what he says this coming Wednesday. I got to go back down there, and I hope I get these big old rope staples out of my chest, or big old.
I don't blame me. Yeah.
But I'm assuming they're probably going to put me on some kind of physical therapy for a little bit, and have me start walking a lot, and so.
That's good. We'll be looking, get updates on that and get back out in the fields when we can.
Yeah, I need to.
I seen, I don't know if you've been in contact with him, BC, or Robert Taylor was out somewhere this weekend. He said it was the Black Swamp. Would you know where that is?
I think it's fairly close to McCrory, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Close to where he lives. Yeah, I think.
Seemed like he had some good pictures of activity and structures and everything there.
Yeah, he sent me one photo of the X.
Yeah.
That right there, it's like that's a telltale sign right there.
Mm-hmm. And there's definitely something in that area and claiming that, hey, this is my territory. If you want to talk about it, let's come on and talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that was like a do not enter or not welcome sign. And then I've heard of small X's on the ground that's supposed to be like it's okay to come in or whatever. I don't know if that's meant for us or if that's meant for others of their kind.
Others of their kind. And if you find the same big structured X that's on the ground, it's usually that it's a female that's leading that area there, and that she's open for like a alpha male to come in. That's so So if you find the big X structure that's laying on the ground like that, yeah,
turn around and leave.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I sent you a picture on Messenger, Wendell. I don't know if it came through or not.
I didn't get it. Well, maybe. Let me look. No.
Well,
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I talk about these UFOs. I just sent you a picture of one.
Huh. Well,
that was over the computer building at the ASU BB about 1:30 in the morning.
wow.
Yeah, Dale, you have to send that to me on Messenger. I would like to see that myself.
So, yeah. I didn't think I was even going to be able to find it, but I did. And, I got this new wireless mouse on my computer, and it's way too sensitive compared to the one I had on there.
Huh. It still says downloading, so maybe I'll get it here in a minute.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it's taking so long. But...
Yeah, I come home one night and I worked the late shift. How they tell you on that, somebody's going to have to die on first shift before you ever get first shift. You can work nights till you old man. Right. I'd get home about 1 o'clock. And that's the end of the day for most people. I mean, they go out and do things afterwards. And I think, man, I can't go to sleep. I get home, can't go to sleep. So I was driving around. Well, I drove right down the street, turned up, went through the college, SUBB college up there. And this thing was up above the computer building. I'm like, holy moly. So I jumped out of the car and I'm standing up on the edge of the frame, and I'm standing right there looking at this thing right underneath it. And it just took off. Boom. And went down to the college farm down there and stopped again. I'm like, oh no, you're not getting away that easy. So I jumped back in the car, and boy, I mean, I was hot rodding it down there. Got down there all the way, jumped out of there's old Barry. I jumped out of the car, and I slid the thing to a stop and just kind of jumped out. Did one of them Dukes of Hazzard things where I just kind of step out of it after I throwed it in gear and killed the key.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there looking at this thing again, and I'm like, man, and it just went straight up, disappeared. And here comes this other car down Cemetery Road coming from the east. And I'm like, oh man, who's this? Well, it was Jimmy Jackson, the police chief. And Jimmy and I were well acquainted, from the ballpark and everything, He said, what are you doing down here on the college farm at 1:30 in the morning, Dale? And I thought about it, and I think, do I want to tell the chief of police that I'm chasing a UFO? I'm like, nah. I said, Jimmy, I just couldn't sleep. I just want to drive around. Maybe I'll get sleepy. He says, I didn't see that SOB either. Let's go home. I'm like, yes, all right. Somebody else saw it. But he was chasing it from the other direction.
Huh.
Pretty interesting night.
Pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, Barry?
Doing better. Mom's doing better. Better she does, better I do.
Amen.
We serve a mighty God. Sometimes you don't see him moving. Sometimes he's moving behind the scenes, taking care of things that you don't even know about, I guess. Or as I put it on Facebook, sometimes he takes you through the fire and you don't even smell the smoke.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of like I messaged you, there's a lot of reasons stuff that we might not really know the real reason right now, but we're put in different places for opportunities. So
Well, me and the devil lock horns several times a day, every day, over Mom and my dogs and stuff like that. So he likes to torment me about that.
Anything going on at your place out there, Barry?
Only thing I can even claim might have been something. It was either last night or the night before. I was sitting up. Mom went to bed. The dogs were laid down. I was the only one up, which ain't that unusual. I usually stay up a couple hours past they do. And I heard what sounded like the classic monkey or gorilla outside. And by the time it was pitch black, even when I looked out with the security lights and solar lights, I couldn't see anything. I only heard it once. Mom wouldn't know if it could have been a hoot owl. I said, no, it didn't sound even remotely like a hoot owl. It sounded like a gorilla or a monkey. And then just this afternoon, I was walking Bo Sivas, and I don't know if he saw something, heard something, or smelt something in the tree line down behind the house, but he locked up and he gave it his "I'm not playing around" growl. I mean, he was hunkered down, pulling on the lead rope. I use a bull lead rope to walk that dog where he's so big. He tries to walk me. And he was ready to go after something.
So he could smell something or sense something that shouldn't be there.
Like Mom said, when he acts like that, you know to sit up and pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
I never could see or hear nothing, but there was something in that tree line that he did not like. That's been about it.
Yeah, we hadn't had no activity around here either. I was telling earlier they had over at Jerusalem, they had a kind of incident the other Friday night. This Friday night when bow season started, they went in and they camped there, and one of the ladies had her tent pulled. So, and with her in it, she thought it was somebody, and why would a hunter do that? And I said, I don't think it was a hunter, not the type you thinking it is anyway. So, not
unless it's somebody knows her, because you walk up to a stranger's camp tent and do that, you're liable to get shot.
Yep, that's kind of the way this was, and it's right where the several in our team has had activity over there by Jerusalem National Forest. So
I couldn't hear whatever you said. Who's leaving out of here? Somebody told you Bigfoot's leaving out of here. I don't remember nobody telling me the Bigfoot. It's been quiet around here. I wondered if they ain't left, but I don't remember anybody else telling me that. I think she's thinking about something I said.
Yeah. And you never know. It makes you wonder sometimes when it gets so quiet and nothing's going on, if they've moved on or moved to an area or what's going on.
Yeah, aside from the white one I was told about.
Sorry.
What, BC?
Aside from the white one I was told about a month ago, and I still have not been able to catch that gal at work, but I will try to get some more details, but I haven't heard anything. I assume they're probably all down in the bottoms because that's where the water's at.
Right.
That could be a big part of the problem around here. There ain't much water right now. Small streams and stuff are all dried up.
Yeah, it's just now we've got some good rains a couple of days ago, and then same Friday night it rained, but it's still not enough to make no streams or nothing flow. Hey, I finally got that picture, Dale.
Yeah, I went in and found the actual file instead of a paste and copy.
What year was that, Dale?
That was let me think. That was 1981.
1981. Yeah, I went to school there from 86 to 88 at ASUBB.
Yeah. I went to school up there for 15 years.
BC was talking about a white one reported. That reminds me of
There we go.
Expedition
That was the
Bigfoot.
shape. That's your.
Holy smokes.
Yeah,
Holy smokes.
that is the computer science building right there under it.
Well, it looks to be bigger than the building.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've heard of sightings around Searcy.
Sound either.
Really big ones over at Searcy.
I took a picture of the UFO. See it? I'm showing Mom.
I've heard people tell me that's one of ours, and I don't know about that. I don't know one of them.
I mean, we don't know, but wow.
Well, that's what I was fixing to say. The next generation stealth is rumored to look like that. So if it is, we got some advanced technology that they're not sharing. But I've got some friends that work for starts with an ISA or I. Anyway, that I had a photo like this where it was landed from the upper side where they was refueling it, and or it looked like they was refueling it. And I said, "Is that a real photo?" And then the person said, "Sure is. That's one of ours." So it's the same shape, but it didn't have them round dots. But it was from the upper side that I got the photo, so it wouldn't have. But who knows anymore?
That's what I'm gonna say anymore with AI and CGI.
No.
You just don't know about a picture
Right.
or video.
But we got an eyewitness account that's what it was. So it's either extraterrestrial or it's our own copy of an extraterrestrial vehicle. So I think more and more of that will come out. Know that they've acknowledged that what they call them UAPs exist or extraterrestrials.
UAVs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that when I first saw this one right here, when I first jumped out of my car, just got up there and started looking at it. The top lights on the right side, the ones in the middle, was yellow. The ones over here on the left side going down between the two bright lights was green, and the ones on the bottom was red.
Huh.
And one thing about it,
and they were all
whatever it is,
it wasn't blinking or anything.
I was just gonna say, whatever or whoever it is, they ain't trying to be the least bit secretive about it, lighting it up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, that thing was. I mean, this was like 1:30 in the morning, though. And you know anything about TV? 1:30 in the morning, they roll up the sidewalks. You know, everything shuts down.
Everything shuts down.
But still, something that big and that lit up, if there's anybody moving to see it, they couldn't miss it.
Yeah. You know what really impressed me was how this thing didn't even take time to speed up. It just went, boop, you know, and it went from there down to the college farm. Just you couldn't snap your fingers that fast. That made no noise. And when it took off from the college farm, it went straight up. It just went from that big to pinpoint, just like that.
Yeah, a human body couldn't take that kind of acceleration. So you're looking at something that's purely mechanical. That meaning there's no living beings on there, at least no humans, or something that they call it. I think it's called internal dampening, like they have in Star Trek, where the ship just flies around and all upside down, sideways, and whatever, and everyone's still like normal. They don't get tossed around. It's almost like it's an internal gravitational field. I know I'm not doing a very good job explaining that, but I think y'all know what I mean.
Well, it's kind of like those underwater unidentified objects.
Yeah, the USOs.
water displacement just gets out of the way and lets it go through. You know,
Yeah.
works on the same principle, kind of a bubble around them.
Interesting.
Did y'all all of a sudden start getting the echo?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's weird.
Let's see what she's talking about. It's got a halo around it. That's what I see. It's got a halo. Has anybody else got a real bad echo?
Yeah, I heard bad echo.
I'm not. Neither one of y'all are giving me an echo now.
See if that stops.
I ain't now.
Nope. Same here.
I was going to say, BC was talking about a report of a white Sasquatch. If you watch the latest episode of Expedition Bigfoot, they found white hairs and set them off to have tested. It was one of them, another known match of any known species.
Yeah, it's only I've only heard of one other white one being spotted, and that was up around northeast of Bradford in the bottomlands there, the White River Bottoms area. That's only that, and that one that was seen about a mile from here, mile and a quarter. Only two white ones I've heard of.
Yeah, I know. I've over here where I was talking about a Jerusalem Matthews encounter. It was really light gray, almost to the white extent, but it was gray. That's crazy. That echoes back.
I know. There's one famous one in Alabama. They call the Alabama white thing. Gets spotted all the time.
I hadn't heard about that.
I was watching Jeff Meldrum last night on one of the shows. And he was discussing the different footprints, and he said, "There's no way that there's any three-toed ones out there." And I'm like, "Well, he needs to come down the Bald Knob and to Harvey Creek."
Yeah.
I'm getting a report that says somebody's watching of us four is watching it on our podcast. That's the feedback. Either one. I ain't.
I'm hearing everything twice.
That's what it's saying. That somebody's watching it on YouTube. That's why
Are we supposed to be on YouTube?
No, I'm just saying. It's saying that one of us four is watching it on YouTube.
Let me check. Another window open.
Like you got a different window open and it's playing.
It's the only one I have open.
YouTube open here.
I'm gonna get rid of all my Facebook ones. It's still there. Huh. I don't know. We're back to that technology now. We went talking about UFOs and there it's went crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe whoever listening to us has got it on YouTube.
I don't have YouTube open right now.
I don't either. That's what it's saying.
Try mute. Hey, Barry. Try muting your mic for a second.
I can mute it. It's muted.
Huh?
I muted Barry there. Is it
Yeah,
echoing
it's
now?
gone here.
That's weird.
Yeah.
All right, you're back on.
So I'm causing the echo this time.
I guess somehow.
Anybody got it now?
Hey, you sound good here, Dale.
Sound good.
That sounds good. There.
Now it started up.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Let me mute mine. Then y'all call.
If I knew what I did with my headphones, I'd put them on. Let's see if it not be me.
It's still doing it. Muted mine. All right, I muted Dale. It's still doing it. All right, I muted BC's. Can anybody hear it now? All right, I unmuted. Now it's BC's. Somehow.
Well, all right. I'll back out and come back. See if that fixes it.
Well, I've got headphones on now, so it's not me.
Any better?
We figured out it was BC. It's not doing it now. I'm going to add BC back, maybe. All right, I added him back. Yeah, it ain't echoing now.
Huh.
You there,
That's
BC?
internet, I guess, for you, I guess.
That ain't good. Now my mic just fell apart. There we go. You there, BC?
He's got a square on my screen.
Yeah, but he ain't talking. Huh. Back to them strange computer problems that come up when you go to talking about stuff. And Braden said, "Hey, what we up to?" Right now, Braden, we're trying to figure out a computer glitch that it popped up. Maybe he hears it.
They hear something all right. Mom's in there hollering whoop whoop. He don't like whoops. They set him off.
Yeah.
I hope you're happy.
Boy, that's a deer dog.
Yeah, it is. BC's back. I don't know if he can hear us or not.
I can hear you.
All right. No echo either. I don't know what's going on. What's on.
He's done that ever since he's a pup. He does not like a whoop.
Huh.
Makes you wonder if it ain't something he's heard before. He knows something we don't. But
yeah, that's what it sounds like. We got it solved now, Braden. Y'all had any activity up there, Braden? Message me on here and I'll post it if y'all have. If y'all been out doing anything. All right, back to our normal topics that we got all this taken care of, maybe.
Yeah, all you NSA guys and everything, we're going to stop talking about that.
Yeah, we'll move back to the Bigfoot subject, or kind of. I've told Barry this before, and I may have told Dale before. Over in western Arkansas, they got I've heard one report of what would be a Wendigo or skinwalker, and it come out of a barn. This was about 10 years ago. And I think it was actually just a malnourished Bigfoot, but I posted a report on the Arkansas Bigfoot cartel. This would be the second time I've heard anything in Arkansas about a Wendigo or whatever. And it was a lady that does a kind of a TikTok account where she does people sends her encounters from all around Arkansas. And somewhere up between Batesville and Mountain View and up in that area, that two guys ended up running into what they claimed to be as a Wendigo. Or to me, it sounds like a Bigfoot, like I said, wearing a headdress, because it had a skull of like a deer or whatever on its head, or that was its head. But I think they was just scared and didn't look close enough, and it was actually a Bigfoot wearing a headdress. But that's twice now I've had reports from in Arkansas that's or heard about reports that would be they classified it as a Wendigo. I don't know. Have any of y'all heard anything like that?
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, about in that, I watched that, and they talked about a blast of cold air.
Yeah.
So
that would be the only odd thing. I wouldn't know how a Bigfoot would do that, but that could also be the. I remember Marcus was saying about that when he got hit by infrasound that time, and that's when he got real sick. That he felt real cold and everything. So
possibly.
That's why I was hoping Neil was on here, because he's the other one in our group that's been hit by infrasound, and I was wanting to know if he had any experience with the cold. Braden's wrote me a whole bunch of stuff here. Let's see. Okay,
I had to fill Mom in on what I know about Wendigo, which ain't much.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do more research into it. They think a lot of them think it's a spirit animal or whatever, but
the way I always understood it, it was an evil spirit that could possess people and drive them to cannibalism. And then once they become cannibals, when they died, they come back as a Wendigo.
That's
like
my
I said, that's in a nutshell.
And that's close to what the Choctaw Indians tell about Champay, their version of Bigfoot is. So, I mean, I don't know. It may all be tied together and may just be different entities like that. I'm going to have to research that more now that it's come up.
There's one researcher that talks about them all the time, Ryan Paul Crimley or something like that. I've heard him on 2 or 3 different podcasts and shows talking about them. If you could get a hold of him, he could probably enlighten us all on it.
Well, that'd be
I think
definitely
it's like his area of expertise.
Let's see. Braden says he has a question. Go ahead, Braden. Text it in. What's your question? That talking about the Wendigo and doing more research. That's one thing I said. There's no experts in none of these fields. We're all. You may have a little more experience with more encounters, but we're always learning. And once you think you're ahead of the game changes a little bit on you, and you're like, wow, what happened? At least that's been my experience.
Like I said, I try to stick to the flesh and blood end of things, cryptozoology. Bigfoot, thunderbirds, lake monsters, giant snakes, whatever. I'll leave all the spirits and ghosts to somebody else.
Yeah, I don't dabble in the paranormal myself.
I don't try to, but it seems to be trying to find me more and more. Seems like people telling stuff. Do y'all? Oh, let me post this question. Do y'all think they move in the rain? Talking about Bigfoot here, I'm sure.
I would say, yeah, sure.
I wouldn't know why not.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Why wouldn't they? And for no other reason, there's fewer people moving around in the rain.
Yeah, that's what I said. If you say it's a perfect time, if they're trying to get from one place to the other, that'd be the perfect opportunity because people's not going to be out and they're not going to make no noise. Now, it may be a different aspect if you're trying to hunt. You'd have to change your whole tactics to where you're seeking wherever something's hiding from the rain. But I think it would be more difficult, just like anything else, to hunt in the rain because they do a lot of theirs from scent. And it's just like with a dog or whatever. The more rain you got, the harder it is for the dog to track the scent. So I would see it being the same way with them. But as far as moving and going from area to area, and that's a perfect time.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Well, you know, that used to be one of my favorite times to bow hunt when I was younger. I'd go out, it'd be just raining its butt off. And I'd have on camouflage rain gear, and I'd go out there and a lot of people don't know that, but deer don't like the rain any more than people do.
Right.
And I read this article one time in Field and Stream magazine, and it was talking about this. They said rainy day deer, that was the name of the article. I remember it. But they said if there's some place on the property where you hunt, if you was wanting to get out of the rain, where would it be? Go there and hunt deer. Sure enough, there's a big old cedar tree that just, I mean, it was huge at the bottom, big old, just thick as it can be. And I went over the first morning I tried that. There was 5 bucks standing right underneath that thing. I just picked the one out and shot it. And I'm like, boy, that's cool. And every time I went out there like that, there'd be deer under that tree getting out of the rain. So Bigfoot probably knows that too.
Yeah, that's what I said. They would change their tactics. That would be the only reason. Yeah. And back to a cedar tree story like that, it was raining and I was probably 17. And at that time, you couldn't shoot a doe or anything in Arkansas. So it was first or second day of deer season. It went to raining. And I'd been up partying all night long. So I was real sleepy anyway. So I got underneath that cedar tree too, expecting, well, it's supposed to rain to up to middle of the day. And then, I'd start hunting again, go back to my stand and everything. And I crawled up under that cedar tree. And sure enough, I fell asleep laying there. And next thing I know, I felt something cold and wet hitting my right cheek. When I opened my eyes, it was a doe. And I don't know who was more scared, me or her, but she fell backwards and I fell the other way, jumped up and hit my head up in the cedar limbs, and she was gone. So we had the same idea. She was trying to see what I was or what was going on, but that's the closest I've ever been to a deer. Sure enough.
I was thinking that back 3 or 4 years ago, like I said, Mom has seen more than I've seen. Actually, physically got a good look. And the first time she saw something small that looked like it was on 2 legs across the road up from the house here, about 50 or 60 yards between us and our neighbors. And it was a light drizzle, late afternoon. And one of the things I could never figure out, I was like, well, it was drizzling. Why would this thing break cover on one side of the road, run across the road into an open field? But I went up there and measured, held the tape measure up, and it come up about my belly button. So it was about 2.5, 3 foot tall. She saw it. And she says it was on its hind legs. Across a 1.5-lane road before a car or a truck come around the curve, and he didn't see it anymore. It went back down in that ditch and over into that field. So yeah, maybe they do move in the rain because whatever she saw was.
Well, scent, rain knocks the scent down,
right,
to the ground. I mean, and like Brandon said right there, you can walk through dry leaves in the rain and it ain't making no noise.
That's it.
So you've got a much better chance of sneaking up on game. So I don't see why they wouldn't be out there hunting like a big dog. I mean, in the rain like that, because all the advantages there is then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Wendell, did you want me to do that thing we talked about tonight?
Yeah.
I picked out 2. One's an historical Sasquatch sighting in Arkansas, and one's another non-Sasquatch cryptid from Iowa. Which one would you like?
Go ahead and do the one from Arkansas, and then we'll see from there.
All right, let me. It's from the Historical Bigfoot Second Edition by Chad Armit. This is an encyclopedia. It's over 1,000 pages of historical wild men, Bigfoot type creatures from every state in the union.
Right.
It goes back to, I think, the late 1700s. Let me find the page it starts on. It's about a page and a half long. It's newspapers from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Adam Sentinel, and General Advertiser. The Memphis Inquirer, June 2nd, 1851, a wild man in the woods. The Memphis Inquirer gives an account of a wild man recently discovered in Arkansas. It appears that during March last, Mr. Hamilton of Greene County, Arkansas, while hunting with an acquaintance, observed a drove of cattle in a state of apparent alarm, evidently pursued by some dreaded enemy. Halting for the purpose, they discovered as the animals fled by them that they were followed by an animal bearing the unmistakable likeness of humanity. He was of gigantic stature, the body being covered with hair, and the head with long locks that fairly enveloped his neck and shoulders. The wild man, after looking at them deliberately for a short time, turned and ran away with great speed, leaping from 12 to 14 feet at a time. His footprints measured 13 inches on each. The singular creature, the Inquirer says, has long been known traditionally in St. Francis Green and Poinsett counties, Arkansas, sportsmen and hunters having described him 17 years hence. A planter indeed saw him very recently, but withheld this information lest he should not be credited until the account of Mr. Hamilton and his friend placed the existence of the animal beyond cavil. A great deal of interest is felt in the matter by the inhabitants of that region, and various conjectures have been ventured in regard to him. The most generally entertained idea appears to be that he was a survivor of the earthquake which desolated that region in 1811. Thrown helpless upon the wilderness by that disaster, it is probable that he grew up in his savage state until he now bears only the outward resemblance of humanity. So well authenticated have now become the accounts of this creature that an expedition is organizing in Memphis by Colonel David C. Cross and Dr. Sullivan to scout for him. And that's just one. It's got one right behind it from 1852. Same basic. Got several of them from Arkansas.
That's over around the Crowley Ridge area and everything over there.
Yeah.
I just picked that one because it was one of the longer, better. All these were like newspaper articles.
Yeah.
That was one of the longer, better ones.
This is way back when nobody even thought anything about Bigfoot or whatever.
Well, this book even goes into that. But, you know, the term Bigfoot come along when Jerry Crews found the prints out in California in the
That's the
late 40s, early 50s.
Earth movement equipment, yeah.
Yeah. That's where the name Bigfoot come from. These are all, I think these only go up to about the early 1900s.
Right.
17 to 1900s, everything was a wild man or a booger or yowie or yoo-hoo or something like swamp monster or something like that.
They didn't know what else to call it.
Yeah, and then all you Native Americans had their various titles for them too.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely out there, and I think that what the lady pulled her tent at Jerusalem, that's what it was, a wild man, all right.
Boy, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I'll tell you. Scary, golly.
But you hear more reports and stuff like that. They're messing with tents and people in tents. And who knows? You put a tent up, crawl inside it, maybe you look like a giant taco to them.
Something.
Or a burrito. You already wrapped yourself. Put yourself on a bun.
Maybe. It's probably just being curious because I would say is that they smell the human scent, but they don't see no human. They see the tent and they're trying to figure out what is this, what's going on here, and then it's once they figure it out, they're right up close, and then time to get out of there. When she screamed, they left. It left.
Well, it's just like humans, something we don't understand. What do we do? Poke it with a stick.
Yeah.
Poke the tent and see what happens.
Well, I tell you what, there's nothing like seeing the side of your tent do this.
Yeah.
A big old hand trying to find out what's in there.
What's this? What is this?
Man.
And that's the sad point after that. The next day, now we know it. We went just off the hill there, and there's a path that's wore all the way up and down that whole mountainside that's been completely wore in. Something's been using it every day. And at the time, we didn't know that, but it's just right there away from where your tent was at.
Yeah, so. I tell you what, I'm glad I had that big dog in there with me that night. But boy, she come over the top of me. That other one growled at the door of that tent, and this one's still trying to reach through the side of the tent back on the other side. And boy, her hair come up, and she come over the top of me, and I pulled that pistol out about the same time. And that one at the door of the tent took off after that, and the other one did too. I guess they like, well, they didn't know there was a dog in there. They gonna mess with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Scared.
I'd turn into a human cartoon if that happened to me. It'd be like Bugs Bunny. You'd be driving down the road and see a tent with a pair of feet sticking out the bottom going the other direction.
Yeah.
I done took off with the tent still over me.
Well, it took me a long time to just unzip the zipper a little bit and look out. I was like a couple inches at a time peeking through the hole, looking both directions, see if there's anything was out there waiting on me.
I did think of one other strange thing that's went on around here in the past few days. It ain't necessarily Bigfoot related.
Right.
We have heard what sounds like a donkey braying down behind the barn in the woods. So we asked one of our neighbors. She's like, "Oh, I hear it all the time. Sounds like a cow to me." And me and Mom both like, "Don't sound like any cow I've ever heard. Sounds like a donkey." And the only thing is, we don't know of anybody for miles in any direction that has a donkey. So either we've got a wild donkey or a phantom donkey or something that can sound an awful lot like a donkey in the woods down here.
Huh.
Well, that's one thing I think they can imitate anything they want to imitate.
Anything they want to imitate, pretty much. Finally got a message from Neil hiking deep. He's going to be driving, and if he gets to his destination, which he must have not, he's going to try to contact and be on the podcast from location. But that was 40 minutes ago, so he ain't been on here. So now we know what happened to him. I hope he's all right wherever he's at. He was going to try to go live from a destination.
I'm going to have to get out and start doing videos again, and doing praying and squatching videos and doing a podcast every now and then.
Right.
I need to do. No, if I can't talk about Bigfoot, I can always talk about Jesus. Maybe I'll do somebody some good.
Amen. I talked to.
But I am back on the job hunt, so I might not have time to do much of nothing. My own opinion.
Well, that's what the one over the northwest Georgia cryptids. I talked to him the other day. He said he's just been working so much he hadn't got to do a podcast or anything, and since first of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent him a message one time. He never did answer me.
He finally answered mine back last weekend. Said he's he's the main manager over the job where he's at, and they got him working just 7 days a week, pretty much. So he ain't had time to do nothing. I was looking for a picture over here of that same night as when we got the handprint on my van window.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I messaged him about. I know he's got a copy of that one picture I call the fog walker that was on the trail cam. The one that's pretty much a clear torso and stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know if you remember me ever showing it, or if I ever posted it on your page or not.
I
I
think you
always said
did.
best
Now that
picture I ever got.
he
I was
probably
gonna see if
have
he
it.
could send it back to me. Like I said, it's the best picture I ever got on trail cam. I lost it. It ain't on my laptop, and probably in one of my old Facebook accounts that I got hacked and locked out of. I remember you showing that handprint before.
Yeah, there's that handprint that night. The same night that Dale got his tent pulled on and tugged.
And I had one similar to that on the back bumper of my car right by the door of my tent
Yeah,
where it knocked the dirt off.
Huh.
I'll tell you
It's
I've
one
seen a
thing.
definitely.
couple on my truck that could have been handprints, might not have. And I've got to the point, if it ain't clear enough to remove all doubt, I usually don't even bother to put it online because I don't want to argue with people about it.
Yeah, that's people's got to where they can't be civil and disagree at all. You know, I mean, it's either yay or nay. I mean, they either think you're either hoaxing stuff or that's that's something else totally. And all of our stuff is we don't know exactly what it is, but this actually happened. So
Well,
you
that's
put
just
two
like
and two together,
that's just like the
that's
post
like
I
this.
put out,
That's
clearing up that
handprint
I've
there. A
never.
couple of people said it was a bear print, but if once you get a bear print and put it side by side, you can tell that it's nothing like a bear print. They said, "Well, Bigfoot don't have them big claws like that." I said, "Well, I don't know if they do or not, but this one may have." I'm not exactly saying it was a Bigfoot, but it was something that moved around our camp and drug that off, and we found tracks that looked like what would be from a Bigfoot the next day. So there was definitely something there.
Yeah, those two. There was two track lines that led away from my tent right down the middle of that darn road, and
Yeah.
they cut down across. You could see where they went. Both of them went down the hill and down in the valley and came up the other side. You could see them just as clear as day. And them thing was what is it, 17 inches?
Yeah.
Both of them. Yeah. So there's a couple of big boys out there just playing around. They're definitely walking on 2 feet because I heard that real clear.
Yeah, that's just like this lady over there said. It's walking on 2 feet. It's a person, And I'm like, well, I don't, it might have been walking on 2 feet, but I don't think it's what you classify as a person. But anyways, what was you saying, Barry?
Oh, I was gonna say that's why I put that post out clarifying that, I've never actually full on seen a Sasquatch. I've
Right.
caught glimpses a couple times of what I thought was a Sasquatch, or what I believe might have been a Sasquatch, but I've never gotten that 10 foot away, eyeball to eyeball sighting where I'm looking it right in the face and can say without a shadow of a doubt, hey, that's a Sasquatch.
I sure wish you was close enough to join us on one of them couple areas that we go to.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
You won't have any doubt by the end of the night.
Yeah.
So I don't have any
He'd
doubt.
be like Austin Wallace at Sillamore. He won't go out there with a single shot 243 again either.
I don't have any doubts. I wholeheartedly believe they're out there. That's what we had around here at one point. House slapping and all that, the prints, and what I had on trail. You've seen what I've had on trail cam. I mean, wasn't smoke, it was fire. But I cleared that up because there were some people apparently thought that I'd actually had a real clear sighting. No, I never said that.
Right.
I said I saw something, got a glimpse of it going through the trees one time, or 2 times, then something across the road one time. Mom saw something running down the bridge one time. She couldn't make out what it was. You pile all like Wyndham said, you put all that together, 2 + 2 does equal 4 most times.
Yeah. And the best sighting I saw was that fountain. Is that what the one that went across the field? I mean, it was either a human that was in a suit that was, I mean, an incredible suit that was bigger than me, a head taller. Plus, he run through the barbed wire fence, and I mean, it just snapped all of them. So I just don't see a human doing that. But I was still, even at that, I was the closest we was to it was probably 110 feet, and then from then on, it got further and further away across that field. But it was definitely not a bear. I can guarantee you that. And the mass on it as it moved across that field. That's my best sighting that we've seen. Then at OARC, I seen the one where it was in the tree, the back and the shoulders, and all the way down to the butt crack as it jumped out of the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then like I said, the best encounter, I wish Austin would get on here, and when he saw them two, and Matthew had to grab him by the shoulder and pull him off the bank before the one took his head off. He went from not believing to knowing.
As far as best sightings, like I said, I ain't had that Class A sighting, but as long as the Patterson Gitley film, and the Friedman film were around, either one of them would convince me.
Me too.
Well, I tell you that night when Thomas and I was up on guard all night long, there was something happening every 2 or 3 minutes. You'd hear something, and whoops and growls and just all kind of noises. Would not.
Sometimes when it can't be nothing else, it's exactly what it seems to be.
That's rule out everything else, and then when you're only left with one thing, then that's what you got to go with. That's always my principle. Well, that's what we're going to talk about at the Arkansas Bigfoot Cartel. Is when I look at structures or tree breaks, you look at like tree breaks, for instance. Just go with that. If everything in the area is all broke one way, and at different heights and everything, a lot of people, that's Bigfoot. No, that's probably storm damage. I mean, but now if you get to where you're in a circle and you find stuff broke this way and then you go back and find stuff that's broke the opposite way, or both stuff that's broke into a V that's pointing in one way, then you start looking for tracks in that area, and it's just a step-by-step process that you gradually go through as you're working the area. Well, I usually do mine in about 100 to 150 foot circle. So you're going to find something if you walk in that circle that collaborates what you just found. If you don't find any more collaborating evidence than that one tree break or one structure that you think's a structure, keep on moving until you find something that collaborates. And if you don't, move to a different area. That's just how it works.
I'm still trying to get that video of you in that worship area up there. I've got it on my phone. I've just been trying to get it to send, and it won't send for some reason.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that's it. They worked there for a while.
Yeah. You'll see that, Barry. It was trees stacked up on each other, kind of in a big old circle, and then there was structures in the middle, like a.
And then behind it all, there's a big giant X.
Yep. But there's a place where you could go in the middle of it and just sit down. Crazy.
Well, we went over our hour mark here. Anybody got any final comments they want to say or anything they want to bring up that we can talk about real quick?
I just look forward to seeing y'all on the 14th of next month.
Yeah, that's going to be a good day, I'm thinking.
Yep.
Wish Barry was closer.
Yeah, me too.
I wish we could make it down there. We just can't do it right now.
I wish that other Barry was closer too.
Yeah. From Red Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't talked to him about a month, but I need to contact him and see how everything's going.
Yeah.
I think he if I remember right, was his brother in the hospital or he lost him?
I think he lost his
I
brother.
think he did.
That's too bad.
Was that the one that was the other elder?
I think that happened.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
There's been
Well,
a lot of that going around here lately. 3 or 4 Bigfoot investigators pass away. Claudia Ackley and I've got his book in there on the shelf.
Scott Carpenter.
Scott Carpenter.
Yeah.
And somebody else was either in real bad. I know Dr. Jeff Meldrum had to get airlifted off of that.
Yeah, that's what I was
tour
going
boat
to
he
say.
was on.
I was posting links onto it, and then one of his close friends said, "Well, yeah, don't be posting this unless it comes from Jeff himself." And I ain't heard nothing else about how he was, or if he come pulled through, or.
I saw somebody somewhere put something that he was stable and doing okay. But his wife and him just requested everybody respect their privacy, which I understand that because when you're his level of notoriety and fame, I guess, for lack of a better word, you probably do get tired of phone ringing every now and then.
Yeah. All right, we went by our hour here. I'll just start around the circle and end with BC and start with Dale here and say our closing exits here and go start with Dale.
Well, guys, I am happy to be here.
Amen.
Could have been a lot worse, let me tell you. It's a pleasure being back with you all again. I'm hoping we can get back out on the field and put some boots on the ground again. And say good night to y'all. Y'all be good. Keep on hunting. And we'll see y'all later.
Yep.
Bye,
definitely see everybody on the 14th. All right, Barry.
I can't say much. I'm glad to see Dale doing better. Glad to see you guys. It's always a pleasure to be on here with you. God bless you and thank you for having me. Like I said before, everybody out there, even if I ain't got nothing to say about Bigfoot, get right with God before it's too late, because I got a feeling it's all winding down. Time's running out. Like I said, I ain't looking for signs. I'm listening for the trumpet anymore.
That's it. Yeah. Praise the Lord that your mother was able to be there with you and everything, and she's doing better.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he's a mighty God. He was taking care of it even when I was freaking out. So.
All right, BC, it's your turn.
Well, I'll keep y'all informed or updated as events warrant. Should I hear anything or see anything? And I'm glad Barry's mother's doing well, and that y'all remember my mother in your prayers. She's in a nursing home with dementia. She hasn't known who I am in a long time. And once again, look forward to seeing y'all on the 14th. God bless you all.
All right, same here. I look forward to seeing everybody, and y'all have a good week, and maybe we'll cool down here in Arkansas. I just looked at the it's going to be upper 80s and 90s all this week, but maybe sooner or later we'll get some fall weather in here and be able to get out and about and
maybe a gun season.
Yeah, after the 14th, we get reports from Dale's doctor. Maybe we can start planning scouting trips and doing stuff and everything. But thanks for watching the Seekers podcast, and maybe Neil will be back with us next week. And here we got something from Braden before we get out of here. Y'all have a good night. Oh yeah, Braden's little baby boy is going to be born.
Congratulations.
We'll be praying for that, and
Good luck, Braden.
Be back. Not sure when we'll work it in. May have to be like on a Monday night this next time, maybe a Sunday, depending, because the end of the month, we're all busy all this month with the haunted house and everything. So would a Monday night work for all y'all?
That works for me.
Should.
Good with me.
Maybe we can get some different.
Mom's got her pro wrestling on Monday night. I don't know if I can get away to do a Bigfoot show or not.
I don't know. All right.
Sorry
Well,
to whip that, y'all. Might
Gotta have
to
that.
yeah, I understand that. Well, we'll work about try something else and maybe do a Tuesday night or something. I don't know. We'll
It'd be
talk
safer
about it.
for me.
All right, y'all have a good rest of the month, and we'll see you on the 14th or on the next Seekers podcast. Y'all have a good evening, everybody.
You too.
All right. God bless you.